All right, everybody. So welcome to the watch list of the week of Monday, May 27th. I'm excited for this one. Today we're recording this on Memorial Day. So we didn't get a chance to get in here yesterday. We typically do these on Sundays, but we got here on Monday night because guess what? The market is open tomorrow. We back full throttle. So let's kill it this week. So first and foremost, we always come to the economic calendar. Always, always, always. Why? Because the economic calendar is like, I heard somebody word it like this. It's like a weather report. Basically, it tells you the best days to do the activity. And so, Monday we seen is Memorial Day. So the market for futures was open until 1 p.m. Eastern today. I ain't take no trades today in the earlier parts of the day because I'm like, man, I ain't about to risk being in chop on a holiday. Like, why would I want to stress myself out on a holiday? So the weather told me don't trade on Monday. So I ain't trade. Tuesday we have consumer confidence at 10 a.m. This event is decent. You might get a little nice candle to give us a little energy in the market. But other than that, there's nothing else here that I'm really concerned with. Wednesday, Fed speakers, probably going to be a choppy day. Thursday looks like a solid day to trade. We got at 8:30 a.m., we got GDP. So that should be able to bring some energy into the market for surely. Last GDP was solid movement as well. So I'm looking forward to this one. Thursday should be a nice little section to trade. As well as Friday, man, PCE. PCE is a big, big market movement event. So we're going to see how PCE go. We're going to see how PCE go. And with that being said, let's go to DXY. One last check on the trade. See, yeah, doing the watch list, I'm already losing the money. Yeah, whatever. We're going to go break even if it go bad. So for people that's watching this on recording, before we recorded, I was saying that I took a trade before the class, but I'm going to teach y'all instead of monitoring it. So we'll see how that go. But anywho, DXY is something we also look at when it comes to sentiment. So what do we say? We said last week we have a highly probable order block here, but my gut feeling, it's not really my gut for real, I have technical reasons behind saying this, is that we're gonna get a reaction here, but it's not gonna bring us to new highs. It's gonna be some type of reaction and then we're gonna trade back under it. I still hold that analysis. Something that could have sent us back to the downside would have been this SIBI. It didn't hold. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. I just wanted to show y'all that the SIBI we talked about did not hold. So now it's like, okay, what could send us to the downside? All right, well, price makes this lower high right here with matching up with these lows to the left as far as the lowest bodies here. And now we're trading back to the downside. I still don't think this, once again, I think we're gonna trade under this order block. If it works, it works. Because guess what? By definition or by textbook, this is a very nice looking order block, but in context, I just don't think it's going to bring us to the highs, but we will see how that goes. Will I break down my thesis for entering the trade I'm in now? I can try to do that. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this mad quick. So basically for me, I told you guys about the highest body being a target. So we got to the highest body here on the 4 hour, and I'm watching the hourly now. And when it comes to the hourly, I was waiting to see what we did with the upper 50% of this hourly SIBI. I'm not for hourly BTSMC. So I'm looking at the hourly BTSMC here. I'm looking to see who did that. Once I seen us violating that, I took my trade, as well as I didn't expect price. If we were gonna put like this, a bearish sign for me is the inability to return to this SIBI, which is a SIBI that I don't want us to return to. So my initial stop loss had to do with a potential revisit to this SIBI. If we revisited that, I wouldn't have wanted to trade. Once I seen we wasn't revisiting it and everything, then I took my chances at the trade or whatever. And so I don't want that SIBI up here to get revisited before we come to my target, which would be the lowest body on this 4 hour. So, but we'll see. Like if it happened to happen, obviously it's a carefree trade now, because my stop loss is basically break even right here. Actually, I'm supposed to change this to 4, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, anyways, so yeah, we'll see how that go. So that's like my quick way of putting it. I'm sorry for being so quick. It just has to do with we come to a POI, and then I'm looking at the failure of a bullish tool I have in price action. So I know if we're truly bearish, or if we're truly bullish, excuse me, if we're truly bullish, we would have held the upper half of that. So now I'm looking for price to come into these lows, and I think if we accelerate past these lows, we should get into my actual target. So We will see how it play out. So yeah, here we are on DXY. We talk about this. All right, so we can move. Now, I actually wanted to take us to NASDAQ, actually. I wanted to take us to NASDAQ because I wanted to recap a little bit about last week. So low-key DXY was supposed to come after this. My bad, I'm out of order. So let's get back to what I was trying to do. I wanted to come back to last week before we touch on this week. But I could say, because I started DXY, what do we get from that? DXY having the potential to trade lower means there's definitely a potential to trade higher for the NASDAQ. So keep that in mind, and we'll get back to that point. We will get back to that point. But here on MNQ, let's talk about last week for a little bit and have some takeaways, because as y'all know with these watch lists, it's like a disguise for me teaching you stuff for real, because it ain't really about just finding fire plays. We want to take gems to actually get better, to be better traders. As y'all know, BTSMC, we big on education here, actually getting people to the point where they could trade for themselves. They don't need nobody else. So what gems can we get from last week? Well, let's come here right quick and talk about, how about the day of NVIDIA's earnings? Remember that day? And we had FOMC minutes at the same time. So we said don't trade early in the day, because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday last week, there was no news drivers. There was nothing in the market that would have told us to be to be trading. Basically, why would you trade if there's no news drivers? There's nothing to give energy to price action. So you're gonna be dealing with chop. Like if I even press here, you can see we were consolidating. Like this is nothing to be taking trades on. This is the opening range, mind you, y'all. Y'all know the opening range is supposed to be real energetic, up or down. We going sideways. They're telling you, yo, stop participating in this nonsense. The best trades will come when the news event comes, and that was 2 p.m. So I want y'all to see what 2 p.m. look like. First of all, we already leaving signatures, and I'm talking about mentees when I say this, because typically when it comes to signatures, I don't really share those with the free zooms like that, because those signatures is a large part of the strategy, which is a mentorship type thing, as y'all can understand. But we're leaving a signature that tells us, yo, we're gonna come to these lows next. So at this point, we really know we're coming to these lows. All right, so we're short here. We already went short. Everything's good. And then now we're looking at these lows. And y'all might remember in the chat, I said, let me show y'all actually. Okay, y'all might remember in the chat, I said, yo, after these lows got hit, I got out of my shorts and I say, yo, I don't think we're gonna cross the lows of this Tuesday candle right here. Basically, I named it this. I said the lows of the 4-hour candle from May 21st at 6 a.m. So on the 4-hour, it looked like this. So I was saying we're not gonna go under here. We're gonna stay in this range until NVIDIA's earnings. So prior to NVIDIA's earnings, this is what I said. I said I believe that we're going to drop on FOMC minutes, and then NVIDIA will give us the pop to run back above these highs. And largely, what I want you to take from that is, when there's 2 news events in a row, a lot of times the first news event is a fake to one direction, and then the second news event will take you in the opposite direction. So that's something like some called like a Judas swing, basically, which would be like a fake move to one side so we could accelerate to the other. So that's why I took the move to the downside, which I knew we was gonna go to the downside. I knew this was the barrier. This part, my mentees know why this was the barrier, why we wouldn't cross these lows. And once again, this is all stuff I say before it happens. It's not like this is stuff we seen in hindsight. I said we wouldn't cross under this yellow line. Okay, cool. So what do you think I did? I went long down here. I got my entry in this area. Yes, I did get nervous on this candle. These red candles, yes, I got nervous for sure. I took my entries based on this BTSMC. Right, so I got in during the creation of this BTSMC, as I know we're gonna now take these highs, and then I'm waiting to see what happens next. But it didn't hit my stop on it like that, because this was options, by the way. I didn't take those as futures. I took this with options. So I took my calls and I was like, yo, I'm gonna wait, because once again, I already felt like NVIDIA was gonna be bullish. Now, why did I say that? What did I say about NVIDIA? So why was NVIDIA gonna be bullish? Once again, let's talk about takeaways. Do y'all remember this picture? Or do y'all remember what I said last week on the watch list? I said NVIDIA will be using this VR to take us to all-time highs. So once I seen us react here, and we started pushing. Now what are we saying? Heading into earnings, I said if we don't cross over the yellow lines before earnings, Nvidia will gap up on earnings. I'm not going to play Nvidia earnings because that's super risky. And just because I feel like I know what's going to happen, it's always going to be a probabilities game. And do I want to risk capital on Nvidia's earnings? No. But it's still good to see things play out because it helps me with future plays. So it might not be an earnings play, but next time I see us next to all-time highs and I see us react to the VI that I need us to, I'm gonna trust that it's gonna take those all-time highs. It don't have to be an earnings play. So looking at it play out is still good because it's gonna make me money in the future for future setups. So we want to still validate our setups. That's how we chart everything, and that's how we make sure everything's holding across all markets, which it does. So now we have this all-time highs right here. The reason I said if it doesn't cross all-time highs before earnings is because if we would have taken all-time highs during the day, there's a chance that Nvidia could have done what we call a sweep. It could have, if they closed right here, and then it could have easily gapped down the next day and open right here, and I'd be like, oh shoot, Nvidia sweep highs. But when it comes to liquidity, right, there's a huge liquidity pool above these all-time highs. Whether I said we don't engineer liquidity for no reason, they formulated a double top here. There's a whole lot of stop losses on top of these highs. Ain't no way we finna come right next to these highs and not take it, unless we could have done this, like I said. But if we don't do that pre-earnings, earnings is gonna be the thing that liquidates these shorts. If Nvidia was really ready for a big downtrend, my people, guess what we would have did first? We would have ran these highs first if it was really ready for a big downtrend. So that's why Nvidia gapped up. Plus, you already know I gave this target last week on the watch list as well. I told y'all I have Nvidia going to 1072.70 as a first target. They already almost there. So that's a first target for Nvidia. But during this day, seeing that, okay, it's 3 o'clock p.m. and Nvidia clearly is not going to take the highs. All right, Nvidia is going to be bullish on earnings. So when we come back to MNQ, you guys can see why I felt confident holding my close. And that's the takeaway that you could get from that. Now, coming into Thursday itself, now we gapped up, everything is Gucci, everything was good. Wow. And then, oh my gosh, did y'all see the dump that happened on Thursday? What a terrible downtrend for people that were not expecting that. But I actually live traded this with the mentees. A lot of money was made to the downside. This was also my biggest day of 2024 overall. So, you know, we ended up making money on the shorts. But guess what? You see how we took out stop losses that existed under these lows? What I keep telling people is you have to watch what price does after we take lows. That's very important. Now, even outside of those lower time frames, my mentees know the 4-hour left a signature that is not typical of downtrends. So without even knowing what the signature is, right, you can still know this for your own brain. Just note that there is a certain way that price delivers bearishly, and there's a certain way that price delivers bullishly, and it's extremely repetitive. And that's what we build our profitability on, because we can depend on these setups. So based on the signature and price action that was left, I told everybody in class that night, I said, yo, the NASDAQ is gonna rally. I'm bullish because of that signature that was left. It's not easy to be bullish when the market looks like this, bro. Like, everybody in the world thought we was about to be in a huge downtrend, but based on this signature, I was like, oh, we going back to all-time highs. So then you see what happened ever since. We've been bullish, and then we'll see what happens next. This is where price currently is, but we at least got to the highest body, which is a target in itself, as we know, and we'll see what happens. Now, those are some takeaways from NASDAQ from last week that I think you guys can benefit from. But now I'm going back to what I expect to happen this upcoming week. So we talked about the past. We took some gems from it. We talked about Nvidia, how to know they was going to gap up on earnings. We're not going to come next to a liquidity pool and not take it. Not on something like earnings. If we was gonna go down on Nvidia, they would have ran all-time highs first. So that's some takeaways for y'all. Now let's go ahead and get back into what we see actually happening in these markets for this upcoming week. One question in the chat says, any thoughts on the 10-1 split and the effect on the direction? Any bias or anything you want to add? So for me on Nvidia, as we see, we're at all-time highs. I have my targets that I have on Nvidia. I have my methods against those targets, but to me, they're not as reliable as when I have liquidity targets or inefficiencies, things of that nature. So for me, when it comes to Nvidia, I ride the uptrend until it doesn't ride anymore, basically. And I'm looking to see certain signatures hold to tell me we're still bullish. So for example, on Nvidia, as I talked about, I felt we were still bullish as long as we held this VI. That's why that's why I said this when we had the watch list. I said, yo, I think we're to gap up and continue all-time highs this week. And Nvidia, and then I talked about what would happen on earnings, because if we're bullish, this will hold. It's really that simple, right? If we're bearish, this would not have held. So I just try to keep trading that simple. It's really the if-then statement for me at all times. Like, if we're bullish, then this will hold. If we're not bullish, then this will not hold. And I keep it that simple. So right now, Nvidia is in a super strong uptrend. You don't want to see this earnings gap get filled before we hit this yellow line. Obviously, I highly doubt that happens. I would map out this gap on Nvidia right here, and I will watch how we trade with it, based on what we do with this yellow line. So basically, what I'm trying to say is this. If we hit this yellow, meaning we met an objective, because this is an objective in itself. If we hit this yellow and then we come down here, I want to see us fill this gap and use this daily red candle as a level of support. So I don't want us crossing back under this red candle. So if we can fill this gap, hold this red candle, then I think the video will start making its way to the next yellow target up here at 1179.50. All right. But if we come back under this red candle, then I think Nvidia will make a pretty strong move to the downside after that. So for me, my expectation on continuation when it comes to all-time high tickers is not just the validation of certain tools, it's the invalidation of certain tools. So if I'm bullish, I want to see bullish things validated, right? But if I'm bearish, I want to see bullish things invalidated. So that's basically what I'm trying to say there. And when it comes to the split and all that stuff, I don't really be concerned with that, because the chart is going to be the chart. I base things on the chart. I believe price direction is fully predictable by a chart. I don't even think about fundamentals when it comes to it, because I'm a nerd. I care about fundamentals, but when it comes to me trading, I don't even look at fundamentals at all. Like, I'm strictly chart based, and I've proven time and time again that you could know direction strictly on charts. I prove that every day, every week. So yeah, we talk about the XY now. Yeah, I seen us even talking about technicals with bonds. So here on the bonds, this is the only thing that's a little bit concerning for me, is this 2-year treasury bond trading to the downside like this. We wanted to see if we will hold this busy for some more bullish sentiment. And to give you the background on that, basically, we initially took this play when it comes to bonds, not with a trade. I'm talking about analysis, because we use this for sentiment, people. So on a previous watch list, we talked about price coming into this busy after sweeping weekly lows. We came to this busy. We wanted to see if we could take this yellow line. Notice that we came to the yellow line. Yes, good job, but we didn't accelerate past it. All right, cool. So now I said, all right, price is going to come to this busy next. We came there. I said I wanted to hold that busy if we're going to be bullish, and it could be in a range all it wants to do, but it should eventually break out. Nope. We came past that busy. I don't like that. And now when it comes to this bond ETF, a couple things I'm watching to see how we trade with this. I can delete this now. We don't need that. I'm looking to see how we trade with this city. If we could use this city to take us back under these lows. If we trade back above this city, I would actually be bullish on this bond ETF. So, or these bond futures rather. So, and I know some people are new here, so the reason I look at bonds is because typically if bonds are going up, then stocks should ideally be going up as well, because bonds and their interest rates move, bond prices and their interest rates move inversely. If the bond price is going up, then the interest rate should be going down. Interest rates going down, that's a good thing for stocks, ain't it? Ain't that a great thing for stocks? Interest rates going down. So that's the logic here. That's why we use it for sentiment in the upcoming weeks. So I will be watching to see how we trade with this city. I think the question is answered if we don't even touch it in the first place, then obviously. But if we come here, I want to see if we could reject on it, or if we're going to trade past it. Because if we trade past it, I think I become bullish on it, and I expect a move back over these highs, which would be very bullish for the stock market. So high watch on bonds. Now, quickly, the only two forex tickets I would give updates on is Euro USD. We want to see Euro USD continue to make up moves, and you see they're starting to trade back up, so that's good. We wanted to see a continuation higher coming into this yellow line right here. 1.09164 is a draw I have for them, and GBP, same vibes. We initially targeted this yellow line, and I expected to see continuation. Now we're looking to see 1.28039. So that's for my forex people in here. I think that British pound makes a continuation to the upside. Now for sentiment, I know not everybody trades Bitcoin, but I use Bitcoin for sentiment because it's a representation of liquidity in the markets. Think about it. If it's a risk on environment, meaning people are willing to take risks, then guess what? They'll be in Bitcoin. And it's been proven that Bitcoin moves in correlation with NASDAQ. When NASDAQ is going up, typically Bitcoin is going up, and vice versa. So if I have bullish sentiment on Bitcoin, then I have bullish sentiment on NASDAQ. And something we targeted on Bitcoin was this BTSMC. We wanted to see if this could take us to highs. As you see, we came into this BTSMC, and look at everything that's been working out ever since we came in there. Now, I don't know if y'all saw my YouTube video that I just dropped. I just dropped a YouTube video today, this afternoon, and it talked about the validation and the invalidation of tools. How do you know which POI is probable? So basically, in context right now, we're coming off of a weekly BTSMC. That means we're supposed to touch this area. I talked about holding the upper half of this is a good signature. We hold the upper half of it. It should take us to the previous highs, which would be the all-time highs. All right. So in my head, based on the weekly, I'm remaining bullish and I'm watching bullish tools. I'm not looking at bearish tools. Now, I personally wouldn't even validate this green candle right here, and I'm gonna highlight it for you. See this green candle? I wouldn't even validate this green candle as an order block. I would never do that personally. But it's just to show you an example, because some people would, right? Some people will call this an order block. I would never do it. It doesn't fit the criteria I want for my order blocks. All right, that's why it didn't work out, first of all. But notice that a bearish order block doesn't work all of a sudden. And then whatever you want to use, let's say this fair value gap, because people somehow be marking out every fair value gap on the chart. I don't know why. And they're saying, dang, why my bearish fair value gap didn't work? Why didn't price reject here? Wow, interesting, right? We blew right through that thing. We didn't even acknowledge it. Why? Because it's out of context. And that's what the video was about earlier today. How you know when things are in context or not. And you can see that off the weekly, we're supposed to remain bullish, but notice what is working, right? Now forget everything to the left, because people look to the left too much when they're not supposed to. They don't know when to look to the left. This is a time period where you're not looking to the left. You're focused on your current price leg, so we're focused on bullish order flow. Now look at our current price leg. What are we reacting off of? The daily BTSMC. So we come into this. We held this. I wanted to hold the upper half of it. We came a little under. So Bitcoin colored outside the lines on this one, but it held. We pushed up. Beautiful, cool. We didn't even come back to this. I love that. We talked about this day. I said, yo, on the watches, I said, tomorrow we're gonna hold the upper half of this red candle and go up from it. What happened? We came into the upper half of this red candle, and then we pushed up. Strong day. When we push up, what do we like to leave? We love to leave fair value gaps. Why? Because they could be a line of defense for us for any future retracements. So here we retrace into that very same fair value gap that was made on the move up. Do we care about wicks? No, we don't care about wicks. We talk about bodies. Bodies held this fair value gap, and we starting to move to the upside. So I'm still looking for continuation to the upside here on Bitcoin. We'll see if bodies still hold this, but if they don't, what do we say about Bitcoin? We said if Bitcoin doesn't hold these tools up here, let's say it comes back down here, I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's gonna stay in the range. I think that's what happens. So if we don't use this BTSMC to run all-time highs, I think Bitcoin will stay in the range for a while. So I wouldn't want to trade that for my crypto traders. But yeah, I got some bullish sentiment on Bitcoin overall based on the weekly. So that helps us build a story for now coming into NASDAQ and everything. So let's really talk. All right. So for NASDAQ, I do believe that we're going to come. I don't think we're going to lose this BTSMC here from the 4-hour. I don't think we're going to close under that. I would want us to come into this area. We could come under these lows all we want, but I think we should ultimately hold this area to eventually run all-time highs. So that's what I expect to happen on NASDAQ. I don't feel like we're going to go bearish, but I will say if NASDAQ doesn't hold this fair value gap, so let's just say I'm wrong about us not holding it. If it does come under it, then I would probably target, I'll probably target these lows, go back to the lowest body of this swing point. All right, so those are the two scenarios. Like if we hold this purple area, I believe we'll go to all-time highs. If we don't, then I believe we come to the lowest body here, and then I will want to reassess because there's a chance that we can get a bounce inside of this wick. All right. So NASDAQ, I am bullish on in the intermediate term, and ES, same vibe. So when it comes to ES here, there was some takeaways from ES too, my goodness, from last week, but I'm not even getting into it because of time purposes. But just looking at this price action, it's just gorgeous. Like this is exactly what we would like to see. But I do have an expectation that ES will do the same thing I said about NASDAQ, pretty much come into this area. It'll probably hold this hourly BTSMC right here. I think it'll hold this area and move back to the upside. I don't see us coming under this red candle. So this hourly red candle on ES, I don't see us coming under that red candle before running all-time highs. All right, so I think all bullishness, anything that could turn us back around to the bullish side will most likely happen in this general area. So I will be looking for, market structure shifts. I'll be looking for BTSMCs to, like, say we come down here, if we start making an hourly BTSMC, I would like to get involved in that area and then try to take it much higher. All right, so we'll see how that goes. But I do think in the short term, I think we should revisit this purple area in the short term. That's what I think will happen in the short term. But I think we won't stay long in this area. I think we'll come back to the upside. So we'll see how that go. And yep, bodies. My fault. I had missing things in the chat. Okay, yep. Okay, cool. Smooth. Now the Dow Jones is the thing that I didn't like last week. Dow Jones annoyed me last week, people. I'm trying to tell y'all. So if y'all peep, NASDAQ and ES both have ran all-time highs. And notice that the Dow Jones fell short of their all-time highs. That really annoyed the heck out of me. I'm like, why y'all doing that? And that's a divergence, so you have to keep your eye on stuff like that. But I do feel that the Dow is almost faking people out to the downside. I'm not falling in love with downside. I don't feel like we're going to come back under these lows before running all-time highs. But I need to see more information on the Dow because it's not moving how I would want it to. So I will wait for more confirmation. So for the Dow, we said, hey, we would love to see if it could hold this BTSMC to move to all-time highs. Trade it under that. I said if we do trade under this, we're gonna come here next. So let's say somebody was trying to trade the Dow. There was a trade opportunity between this BTSMC to this BTSMC. I wanted to see what we did here. We closed under that. I don't like that for bulls. I don't like that for the bulls. But I will say, I believe on the Dow. If we come back, and I'm gonna delete these, I don't need these no more. I be just leaving those on for the watch list. I be fiending to get off my chart. I cannot stay in busy charts, yo. So look. If we come back to this fair value gap here on the Dow, I don't think that we're going to go to these lows. I feel like if we come back here first, the Dow might end up coming back to the upside like that. Now, I need to see more information. I need to see what the candles look like when they get there and stuff. So maybe I'll give updates in the free community. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description for the free community. But I'm not I don't know, like something, I just don't think the Dow was really starting a downtrend. I think it's just kind of a strong move down. And then it's going to move back to the upside. Now, if it doesn't come here first, I'm targeting this BTSMC right here from Friday, May 3rd. So if it doesn't come here first, then I would target this. It should move here next. And then I would expect potential reactions back to the upside from there. So that's the plan. If we come back here, I'm pretty bullish. If we don't, this should be the next destination. All right, so that's the Dow. The Russell did exactly what we wanted it to. We wanted the Russell to come back into this this weekly VISI and VR. So this is good. Came back in here. I'm expecting continuations to the upside when it comes to the Rusty Russ. So everything looked good on the Russ. So they did what we wanted it to. This was our line of defense. We wanted to see it hold that. It's holding it so far. I don't like how it's moving up though. I will say this is something I don't like. Why do I not like that? I want to see if y'all been paying attention these past multiple weeks. I've been talking about this. Why do I not like this up move? Can somebody answer that in the chat? Why do I not like that up move? Like the only thing that will make me wary on upside. Like Brandy said in the chat, no fair value gaps. Yup, Rose said no bitsies, no fair value gap, no bits. Exactly. So y'all know, y'all see what I'm seeing now. I love it. I love it. Now, something that's good, something that's very good is the invalidation of this SIBI. That's good. That makes me feel we want to move higher, but I don't like this up move. So now I'm kind of seeing, I want to see if this red candle could hold as a level of support to move us back to the upside on the 4 hour. So my eyes is definitely on the Russ. I think we're gonna move higher, but I will admit the thing I don't like is this. And when I see stuff like this, I typically don't get involved, even though directionally from the higher time frame it tells me I should be bullish. When I look at the lower time frame and it has no fair value gaps, I usually stay cash on tickers like those because I needed to have everything I want, not just one thing I want. It needs everything at the same time because we take what? Highly probable setups. Not I think so setups, not highly probable setups, because capital preservation is key. There's other tickers that have everything we want. So why trade tickers that only have certain things we want? Why? You want to make money, right? Ain't that the goal? So yeah, like Moji said, no bullish signatures, indubitably. Yeah, exactamente. So that's that. Now let's go to copper. Like I said here, if we're bearish, I don't want to see us come into this SIBI. It's similar thing I said for the Dow Jones. Very similar thing I said. I don't want us to come back here. If we come back here, I believe that copper is going to end up trading back to the upside, which it looks like it want to come into that fair value. Now it could reject it. Don't get me wrong, it happens. It could come here and reject it, but I'm telling you what I'm leaning towards. This move on copper has already started. I don't like getting in the middle of a move because typically, here's something you can take away. If you draw a range from the low to the high and you find yourself trying to enter trades around the equilibrium, around the 50% of that range, you may get caught up in consolidation or some level of manipulation or chop, because they do a lot of liquidity sweeps in this area and they do a lot of fake outs in general in that middle area. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful trading in the middle of a price lag. That's why I want to see more information. I want to see if we do reject it. So if I see this, if we come into this, reject the lower half, and then run these lows, not reject the lower half, come here and then do that. No. Hear me very clearly. I'm very specific here. If we do this and run these lows, if we run these lows with a 4 hour bearish fair value gap, then I would take copper to these lows. So there's a way that I wanted to deliver it for me to actually get involved. That's the only how I want to get involved. All right, now if we come here, and if we come into the blue area and we having bullish fair value gaps, then I will want to see continuation higher, and I will want to see price respecting those bullish fair value gaps. Then I would target these highs. I would target running these highs next on copper. Now there's a button on the bottom of TradingView called Be Adjust. All right, this button right here, notice that when it is, look, this is the monthly, right? This is the monthly. Be Adjust is currently on. Peep this. I'm about to click it off. Peep. Whoa, ain't that crazy, right? Everything changes. It looks like we ran all-time highs. So we ran all-time highs when it's off, but when it's on, we didn't run all-time highs on copper. So I want y'all to be careful of that when it comes to charts that end in 1 with an exclamation mark. Those continuous futures charts, you have to toggle on Be Adjusting. You can toggle it on and off. They give you different feels, so you want to be careful when you're analyzing a chart with that. All right, because it's actually very important. For me, I would like to see whether or not we actually ran all-time highs. So I kind of hate the fact that when it's off, we did, but when it's on, we didn't. It kind of throws off my analysis a bit. I tend to chart with Be Adjust on personally, but I'm still kind of researching whether I like to keep it on or off, which one is more accurate for me. So to be continued on that, but that's just a little tip. So CL here, people that trade CL, I told y'all, watch what happens at low. So what was the plan last week? It was this. We want to see bodies hold under 50% of this weekly SIBI. Look how we held under 50%. Literally perfect, right? Because bodies held under 50%. And if we do that, then we targeting those lows. This was last week's plan. This delivered absolutely beautifully. I know some people made money on CL. They was hitting me up. That's good. I love this. And we ran those lows. But what happens when you run lows, though? What happens when you run lows? That's so important. Do you see do you see a willingness to make a continuous move? No, you see price starting to push up. And then you see we respecting bullish things all of a sudden. Hold up, we came into this bullish fair value gap and pushed up. Oh man, it don't look like it want to make a continuation to the downside. So you got to be careful. Now, yeah, and last week, by the way, there was a strong retracement at first. It rejected right at the fair value gap. You can see the daily fair value gap that we rejected on, came right back to the downside. Then we ran those lows. So that's why we have these as lines of defense. I talked about leaving them as a line of defense. That's good. And then, but now revisiting that same fair value gap, no. That's why that's off my chart now. I just wanted to show y'all the initial rejection. But yo, we not looking for no revisits, my people. No. Not in this context. I'm looking to see continuation on CL to the upside. I actually don't think I want to target this yellow line anymore after seeing how we've had a refusal to go and get it. If it had an intention on getting it, I believe that we would have gotten it last week. Now, what I want to see on CL to give me more bullish sentiment is today's candle, meaning the candle that we currently see. This green candle, obviously I want it to stay green and close green. And then I will want to see if the next day could open up and make a bullish fair value gap here, meaning I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to draw it like that and say, oh, we have a BTSMC. All right, so if we make a BTSMC here, I believe CL is going to extend to the upside. So if we make a BTSMC on this daily on CL, so don't take a little patience, I believe we're going to extend to the upside. All right. Plus, we know not to trade inside of a range, right? That's extremely highly like unprobable. Is that a word? Not probable conditions for us to be trading it is trading inside of a consolidation, as y'all know. So you probably shouldn't be looking for trades in here anyways. So once again, if we make a bullish fair value gap, then I could expect us to take these highs and extend. So they CL is on high watch for that. Gold has made I said gold is gonna make a big move to the downside. I said that, and then y'all seen what happened. We ran all-time highs. I said we should see the weekly BTSMC, which is this purple area, before we ever come back here. I said that before though. I can delete this. I feel like we're still gonna end up coming to this purple area. I want to see daily bodies hold under 50% of this city. So if daily bodies can hold under 50% of here, then I really do like this move coming into the purple and maybe even lower. Really, you could target the lowest body on the weekly swing point, meaning that's right here. So on the weekly chart, my target on gold is just to come to the lowest body on the weekly. That's it. So I would want to see us once again use this SIBI to take us there. That's all I'm saying. Use this SIBI to take us there. I don't want us coming to the upper half of it. If we come to the upper half of it, I'm not.
What's the difference here?
My first somebody came off mute. If we come to the so if we come to the upper half of it, I'm not bullish, but I'm also not bearish either. You know what I mean? So the only how I'm actually literally bearish is if we stay on the lower half of this, then I will remain bearish on gold. But it was a very nice move last week. I know some of my mentees was eating off of that. So shout out y'all. Now let's get to SPY. For SPY, y'all know we made an inside day candle on Friday. So you want to obviously be careful trading inside of this big red candle. Be careful trading inside of that. There's a possibility that we could sweep one side and come to the other. That a lot of times that happens with inside day candles, or we could just make continuation. I kind of lean towards somewhat of a continuation to the upside, more so than coming back to these lows. I really pretty much feel that we're gonna just end up, we might consolidate sideways for a second, but I think we're gonna go back to the highs before we come back to these lows. But as y'all can see, it's literally like sideways movement. It's consolidation. There's not really much from the daily to really say there. Like even the 4 hour is the same vibe, but I love where we bounced at. That's why I don't feel like we want to come back to that area, because where we bounced at is literally exactly where I would want it to bounce at for a continuation to the upside. So I feel that when we open on spot, it's gonna be a move to the upside next. And yeah, I know the first target I had here was 539.98. Yeah. Brandy says, so even with it tapping into the weekly BTSMC already, you can expect it to go back there on gold. Yeah, so with gold, what I'm saying is I have no reason to be bearish on gold right now. So price can still use this BTSMC to move higher again, because I'm still bullish on price when it comes to gold. Now, even with this, right? I feel like if gold was truly bearish, we would have, this first weekly candle, this big red candle, we would have extended, because we would have made an opportunity for a weekly SIBI. I hope y'all understand what I'm trying to say here. Like, let me do this real quick. Visibility. I want to see that on the weekly or the monthly. All right, so boom, right? What I'm saying is this, people. I believe gold will hold this BTSMC to move higher still. I think that we just engineered liquidity here. That's it. So we have a whole pool of buy stops up here, a whole pool of stop losses up here. So I think that we're still gonna hold this to move higher. I just think we're making a quick move to sweep out some lows. That's why a safe target for me is the lowest body here, even without even attacking the wicks. I would just say the safe target is the lowest body there for me. Because I don't really feel like gold is ready to trade down yet. I don't really get a reason to feel that way. Like the monthly is not even giving me that vibe or nothing like that. So yeah, that's my reason. So those are scenarios where I would expect the weekly. Those are scenarios where I would expect the weekly to, not the weekly, my fault, where I expect us to use the fair value gap twice. But it comes from a little bit of like understanding of like what is the expectation still, because the thing is price can't just move in one direction forever. Like we just can't do this all day. At some point they're gonna have to stop out people that's trailing the move. So making the move down to stop out some people who have their stop losses currently under these initial lows, this is permissible. Like we can stop the people out before we move higher. That's permissible. So that's the logic with that. And my target and forecast for SPY, yeah, I'll go back to that right now. So for SPY, I'm just looking to see continuation on SPY here. When it comes to like intermediate term, I think SPY will make a continuation to 539.98. I will admit I don't like how we leaving such a baby BTSMC right here on the weekly. I would have liked last week to stay on the higher side of this green candle, but it's okay. I don't necessarily think SPY is going to make a big move to the downside of that like that. I think that we're going to hold inside their candle and still continue higher. So we could consolidate at first, but I feel like we're going to eventually push to the upside on when it comes to SPY. Now, if SPY closes, actually it could use this area for a bounce too. It would take, put it like this, right? It would take a certain type of delivery for me to get bearish on SPY. And this comes from the lesson I teach on how to recognize a true top and a true bottom in the market. And the way that SPY would be, let's just hypothetically say, if SPY was starting a big bearish move right now, the way that it's starting would definitely not be typical of a bearish move. Like I would be so surprised if we really started a big downtrend on SPY right now, based on how it just started. I would be very surprised. That's not how we typically start down moves like that. This is a game of probabilities. So you leave room for error. We could be wrong, but that's why I said I would be very surprised. So for me, I'm looking at places where SPY could get bought up. So where it initially bounced at, this right here, this VR right here is exactly where I would want SPY to bounce at to move higher. So notice that we came into that VR here on the daily. We came to that VR here on the daily. We pushed up. Good, right? This is perfect. So that's why I say I could understand. I could see a SPY stay here a little bit, but I think it's gonna eventually make its way to run those highs again. And if we run those highs, I'm expecting continuation to come into that 539 price, 540 almost, basically. All right. So yeah, cool. Should be more energetic with displacement down move, indubitably. That's the beat. Like look how there's no cities here, for example. What is that? To start a big downtrend, suspect. Like I'll be very surprised. All right. So as well as like something else that I won't speak on, but as well as something else. So then we have here on the QQQ, same ordeal. Everything I said for SPY is what I'm saying for Qs. The thing I like the Qs though, when it comes to the weekly, this is great. This weekly, let me move this. Actually, I need this off the weekly and off the monthly. All right, so I love this. This is perfect. So the Qs definitely give me a feeling of where we should expect a continuation to the upside. When it comes to the weekly time frame, this bullish fair value gap on the weekly, if we happen to, I don't think this will happen, but if we happen to retrace, I would have an expectation that we will hold the upper half of this to move higher. All right, we should hold the upper half of that if we even retrace, but I could just see a continuation. Honestly, I would not be surprised to simply see a continuation on the QQQ. All right, and that's my target there. The first target will be 467.48. All right, so that's the Qs for you. In IWM, we talked about the Russ. It showed it on the options chart too. This same fair value gap we was targeting to take us higher. It came into that. We got a nice reaction. As you can see, the wick, we bounced there. Now I want to see continuations to the upside when it comes to the Russell as well. So this is IWM. This is the options version of the Russell. Same vibe. That's the weekly. That's the daily. Move is pretty much just getting started. I want to see some nice movements now, right? I like how we invalidate in this 4-hour city already. I like how we invalidate in that so far. That's good. We close above 50%. That's something I'm looking for to give me an indication that we may want to start an up move. So here we are. I'm looking for continuation there. I don't want to see it come below the 50% of this weekly busy. Don't want to see that on Russ. American Airlines is something that I have gotten wrong. So I got American Airlines wrong so far. It's crazy because I don't think I'm gonna end up being wrong overall. But as far as entry, I said, and let me make this clear real quick too. As I say, one, it's a game of probabilities. Two, we don't just get into plays because they're in a POI. Like I didn't take a loss on American Airlines and anything like that. I gave a projection. I said I could see American Airlines using this purple area to go higher. And if you think about everything we've talked about across how many tickets and how many markets, I've been correct for probably like 90% of the time, legit. You know what I mean? And that's really just me saying that there's always gonna be that 10%, and there's always gonna be a room for error. And that's why we trade with confirmation. So let's just say we were looking at American Airlines. Let me know if y'all see any reason to go long here. Once we got to the purple, there was no reason to go long. So we had no confirmations. So there should have been no trade. Knowing the confirmations and signs to look for that is going to use the area. Of course, we talk about that in the mentorship. Of course. But you guys have been trading even before the mentorship. And y'all have your entry strategies. I don't see anybody's entry strategy. Like, you have no signal to go long here. So I know we're looking at this purple area, but if you have no confirmation, what are you taking it for? So no matter what, like, it shouldn't even be a reason to take a loss. I can understand if you got confirmation and then price like makes you take a loss. That makes sense, but it wasn't even no reason to get in. So why would you get in long here? So I'm not saying anybody did. Nobody hit me up saying, yo, I lost money on American Airlines. I didn't get no hit-ups and nothing like that. But I'm saying this hypothetically for everything we chart, for going forward, everything we ever chart people. It's like we highlight areas we want to see hold, and we have entry strategies that we have, but you need to see confirmation when you're using an area. This week on my Instagram, I'm gonna release a reel that's gonna talk about time frames to use for confirmation. So like for the daily, you may want to see hourly confirmation. For the 4 hour, you may want to see 15-minute confirmation. For the 5-minute, you might want to see 1 minute or 30-second confirmation, stuff like that. So being that this is a weekly area, you want to see daily confirmation. Maybe 4 hour, I'll give you the 4 hour, but something on those higher time frames. So, you know, obviously on a daily, you had no confirmation. On the 4 hour, you got no confirmation. So what is you going to trade for? All right. So that's what I'm saying. So never just get in just because we got there. Apple is doing well. Exactly the spot I want to see it bounce. It bounced that. I'm still looking for continuation on Apple to the upside. Apple's monthly and weekly tell me to stay bullish. I think Apple will make an all-time high soon. I know the month. The month is going to close on Friday. So starting next Monday, Apple is going to start a new monthly candle. So starting next Monday, that monthly candle, it could trade down at first, but I wanted to make a bullish fair value gap. That would be lovely if we could do that on Apple. And I think if we make a bullish fair value gap, where we're going to have a monthly fair value gap that looks like this, I think that we're going to have a big green candle here in, what month would that be? Because this is May. So I think June would be big green, and I think July will end up being green again. So if we could do what I'm saying, I believe that the next couple of months on Apple will be green. All right. And I have my reasons or whatever, but I'm trying to move on. So yeah, Apple continuation to the upside. Now, Affirm is not ready. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I really think Affirm is gonna make a crazy move to the upside. I'm talking about like a big candle. I think Affirm is gonna make a big candle very soon. I don't think Affirm is gonna be bearish for long. And I think if you've been paying attention on Watchlist, you may see why. Like, come on now. This is prime for a big move to the upside on Affirm. I just want to see the places going to bounce at. I'm kind of eyeing the lower ends of this fair value gap. Kind of eyeing that. But overall, especially because it's a weekly play, I would need daily confirmation. So what I would look for in a daily is if I could get a strong day. So first of all, I want to see us run these lows first. If I can run these lows and then I start to see a strong green candle come out of here, I will wait to see if we make another green candle for a fair value gap, and then I would get in on Affirm swings because I think it's going to make a powerful move to the other side. So I think Affirm got a lot of potential. It's just not ready yet. So I'm eyeing it. My eyes is on that. I'll try to get y'all updates in the free community. And once again, if you're not in that community, the link is in the description of this YouTube video. So on coin, this is why we make lines of defense. So learning point here, not just watch this, but learning point. Higher time frame tells us to use this monthly BTSMC. My fault. This is the monthly chart. Why? Because we want to use this monthly BTSMC to take us over these all-time highs, especially at least over our previous highs, at least. So look how as soon as we tapped into it, we went bullish. Boom, beautiful. Love it. I love it. I love it. All right. We created this BTSMC. I say, yo, for coin, now that we created this BTSMC, this should be our line of defense. Was it a line of defense? Absolutely. We still want to break this consolidation. So although it looks good so far for coin, I'm only a believer in coin's continued upside. And I got in swing shares down here. On coin based on the monthly BTSMC touch and seeing what I wanted to see and everything. But for me to expect some continuation on coin, what I would want to see is a gap up. So I want to see if tomorrow we can gap up for real. Or we got to gap up. I ain't gonna lie. For me to expect continuation on coin, we got to gap up. Now, hypothetically, if we don't, and coin has a day like this tomorrow, I'm not bearish. I'm just waiting for the confirmation I need. And that comes from the gem I gave y'all last week about how to truly break consolidations. So, we got a gem right here. Hold on. So boom, right? You go to the higher time frame and you get your direction. Monthly tell us to be bullish, right? Copy. So now that we in some daily consolidation after reacting to the monthly BTSMC, we're in daily consolidation. There's two ways you should be delivering bullishly right now. You should be delivering with a fair value gap that comes out of the consolidation. So that's why I'm saying that if we gap up you will treat the gap as a fair value gap. I'm talking too much on here though. I'm talking way too much on here. So boom, we're gonna treat this gap as a fair value gap. And that's what I would want to see to break that consolidation on coin. And ideally, we should not fill this gap back out. You can leave room for it too, but you don't really want it to get filled back out. Ideally, we just continue to the upside like that. That's one level of delivery. This gap will be a line of defense. Ideally, we shouldn't touch it. That's one way we could deliver out of this consolidation on coins daily. Another way would simply be, if I'm bullish, right? A sweep of these lows to come back higher, as if I'm staying bullish. Okay. So that's that. I got a question that said, how are you determining whether you want to play swing shares versus play options? Do I have certain tickets that I swing shares on and certain ones I do options on? For me, it's just a matter of, do I feel like the contracts are juiced or not? Coin. So there's also two reasons for coin scenario. Coins contracts kind of expensive for what I want to do on a swing basis, and as well as the fact of, for coin, right? You see how we was in this consolidation. What do I really teach? I teach y'all, we don't like to take trades inside of consolidation, because you could get a lot of manipulation in that. Coin could literally come right down tomorrow and do this for another 3 months. I don't want to be in an option trade with that. For me, options trades on coin become a lot more probable if what I said would happen happens, meaning we do gap up. If we gap up, I expect this gap to hold as a level of support, or not even get traded to in the first place. Either one, if we gap up on coin, then I could see coin continuing. And I think options would be a much better play in this area, to take these highs initially and then take these highs second. So that's the two types of deliveries I want to see on coin. So for me, it's just a matter of, where are we in price? I'm cool with holding this with shares because there's no data eating out my contracts, or eating at my contracts. Pause. But when it come to this, like I would only do this with shit. I wouldn't do this with options contract. All right, because of the consolidation. So that's that. So that's coin right there. What else? I'm almost done. JetBlue has a potential play right here. JetBlue has a potential play here on the weekly. So this is a small account ticker for y'all. For me, JetBlue, same thing, a certain level of delivery. I need to see bearishness early. For JetBlue, we want to see if we can leave a daily fair value gap right here. If we do not do that, meaning tomorrow's candle comes up and closes in this, like this, eliminating the ability to make a fair value gap, then I don't want JetBlue shorts no more. The only how I want JetBlue shorts is if we gap down tomorrow, or we just open up and start trading down. Then I'm gonna try to take JetBlue to, I'll take JetBlue to, like 488 as a minimum target, but it definitely could see lower. So that JetBlue is something. But overall, I was going through the watch list. I was going through all 100 and something tickers, and there's not too many pretty plays in the market right now, which makes me a little wary on how much higher we want to take this market. Because I'm not saying, like, I think we're gonna go higher, right? But I don't know. Something is brewing, man. I swear something's brewing, but it's just a gut feeling right now. But I don't know, because a lot of tickets don't look too clean. Netflix, I'm still expecting all-time highs. We talked about creating a fair value gap on this breakout. Oh, look, my people. This is a perfect example of what I was just telling y'all about. Look, daily consolidation. Let me know if you see it, man. We got a daily consolidation. If we're gonna break consolidation, we gotta break that with a fair value gap. Otherwise, I don't want it, man. I don't want it. So look, what do? We broke this consolidation with a fair value gap. Why does that thing look like that? With this fair value gap like that. And then what did it become? It becomes a line of defense for us. So for Netflix, after tapping into this, I'm expecting continuation. What do we do at highs? Is very important. I need to see us gap up or open up and not spend much time to the downside, but end up coming back above those highs. I don't want to see Netflix come back to this fair value gap. If it does, am I bearish? No, I'm just saying that that's not what I want to see for bullishness. I'm trying to get y'all to know the difference. Just because you're not bullish doesn't mean you automatically bearish. It's not always like that. Sometimes you're not bullish. That means that you need to stay cash and you're waiting to find confirmation. Once you get confirmation, then you can become bullish again. That's what I'm trying to say. So for me, the only delivery I want on Netflix is bullishness early in the week to give me continuation. But overall, the monthly tells me to target all-time highs. This is exactly where you want Netflix to react at, to take us to the all-time highs. So we'll see what happens. This is the monthly chart. But I think, so we talked about NVIDIA already, I believe, right? Yeah, we talked about NVIDIA. Cool. We are almost at the target. And I think that was the last ticker besides maybe Snow. I want to see Snow come lower personally. I like how he rejected the lower half of this monthly SIBI. But for Snow, I don't want to see us come to these highs of last week. For Snow, in order for Snow to actually be bearish to me, we should not cross back over the highs of last week. I would say be careful trading inside of this consolidation on Snow. I think that I said another thing too, right? The only type of delivery I want to see is if we came here, we gotta stay on the lower half of this daily SIBI. If we don't stay on the lower half of the daily SIBI here and we start coming up this high, I don't like shorts. I don't like shorts on Snow no more. So I only want shorts on Snow if we open up and start trading down, or if it could reject the lower half of that. That's it. But Snow's monthly, I do kind of like it for some more downside. But as y'all can see, do we like trading inside of consolidation? No, we don't like that. Look at the monthly chart. I don't like this. So this is not something I'm in love with. But as I told y'all, it wasn't really too many tickers I was in love with this week across all my options. I have 100 and something tickets, probably like 150 tickets on here, and it's just wasn't too pretty. So that's what we had to say as far as the watch list goes. And I want to say one quick thing before I end the recording. And then of course, I always take questions and stuff after recording. But people, this is more of a journey thing. I want everybody to hear this. Man. I want you to change your expectations on mastery. To master something. We want to master this trading thing. You want to become profitable. You want to change your life with it and stuff. You come into it with an expectation of, oh man, it's gonna take me 1 year. It might not. It might take you 2, it might take you 3, it might take you 5. But the better question to ask yourself is this $1 million opportunity or not? Would you wait 5 years for $1 million? Let me know. Would you wait 5 years for 900,000, for 500,000? So a lot of people here don't make 100K at their job. So would you wait 5 years to make 500K? In 1 year? And then remember, in trading, you're gonna scale. So it's not like a job where your salary is capped. Like, you're gonna scale. So I want you to change your expectation and once again, I'm not saying you shouldn't push yourself, but it's more so to say that it might take longer than you originally anticipated, and that's okay, because it's worth it. It's literally worth the journey. Okay. And the thing is, people say, man, trading takes too long. Let me jump to the next thing. And you're going to get to the next thing. You're going to realize that that takes a long time to master as well. Anything worth having takes a long time to master. So you're going to jump from one difficult journey to the next, and you're going to end up nowhere. You're going to be in no man's land. So if you're going to pick something to pursue, they all going to have roadblocks. Which thing is worth the roadblocks? I would say trading is definitely worth the headaches and the downtimes and the lost money, because you're gonna make it right back. Like, speaking from experience here, it's like going from being a 9-5 person teaching math at high school. I love kids, trust me, I love the high school age. I love working with them, mentoring them and stuff. But I couldn't do the clock in. I couldn't do the wake up, in the morning, being late to work, this, that, people telling me how to dress, how to act. Like, man, please, couldn't deal with that, bro. I took a chance on myself and I went broke. And then I went broke, and I'm never saying to myself, yo, I want to quit. I never said to myself I want to quit, because I kept thinking about the long-term vision. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna figure this out. It might take 2 years. I might have to be broke for 2 years. Okay, but guess what? That's a lifetime of bliss, because I'm trying to buy my time back. So when you buy your time back, you're now the wealthiest person in the room, because time is the most valuable asset. So no matter even if people make more money than me, but if they slaves to a clock, I'm wealthier than them because I own my time. So that's something that I really valued, and that's what I I went out to do. So even the time periods where I'm struggling, like, yo, how I'm gonna pay rent, how I'm gonna pay this, how I'm gonna do this and the third, like I lost another trade. What? I just blew another account. I can't believe this, bro. And I'm crying, like tears, all that stuff, the downside, bro. What, man? So trading to take me through a freaking, don't even get me started on what trading will do to you emotionally and stuff. But like now that I'm sitting at a point where I got a long way to go, right? Not where I want to be yet, but I've gotten to a point where obviously like I'm full-time, I own my time, I'm doing well, things are doing good. Bro, it was worth every minute of misery. And now I'm going to just take it to the next level because that's how it go. When you find profitability, now you just have to scale that. You scale your profitability. You go from making $200 days to $300 days to $600 days to 6,000 days. That's how it goes. But once you cross that threshold of profitability, it's just about scaling that. And so that's every journey. You might be a business owner. Anybody that ever owned a business, y'all know. At first, you might got 5 customers. Then now you're doing 15 customers a month. Now you're doing 1,500 a month. That's how it goes. So no matter what journey you're part of, it's gonna take a long time to master that. And you have to ask yourself, is this avenue worth the headache? I think we could all agree that trading is well worth the headache. So stop putting a time on your mastery. Buckle down. Understand it might take 5 years, but if you're gonna make $1 million off of it, ain't it worth 5 years? I think $1 million in 5 years is a solid little goal for you. So it's worth it. You feel what I'm saying? So do that and don't do the journey without God. Real talk. Don't do the journey without God, because then I can't help you. Because real life, y'all, the only reason I even had the courage to do everything I'm doing and why I continue to do what I'm doing is really just God. And I'm not just saying that. That's literally it. So don't do this without him. Real life. But that's all she wrote, my people. I'm gonna catch y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Check the links in the description for the mentorship, for the free community. Everything's in there. Instagram. You know how I go.